You know, I really love it when we have games that come out. Nobody heard of them coming out. And they flop really fast, right? They're here, they whiff. Nobody even realizes they were there. Nobody knew that they launched. And most importantly, the developers nor the game journalists can yell about how it was the online chuds giving it a bad rap or anything. Right? And that's the only reason it failed or it did bad, because the online chuds, the gaming chuds, whatever you want to call us, was talking bad about it online. Anyway, so we got one of those. Grab yourself some coffee, sit back, relax, and let's get into it, shall we? So, what do we have? We have a game we actually talked about last week for a second called Last Flag. It came out and it was not doing so hot. So much so that they have apparently decided to just shut the doors practically on this. It concorded in, I guess, about 3 weeks. So it lasted a little bit longer than Concord. But yeah, so you can see here as the numbers show, 558 at an all-time peak. And of course, as of recording this right now, it is 6 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday, by the way, with 41 players in it. Now, the picture I'm probably going to take looks a bit different because I'm not at my computer right now, so I can't take the current picture the way, it currently is sitting without it being, or it looking weird because it's on my phone. But yeah, right now they're looking at 41 players with a 64 24-hour peak, and it is not looking good for them at all. But yeah, here we go. Kotaku, online shooter from Imagine Dragons lead singer, is winding down support less than 3 weeks after launch. That's right, Last Flag won't be shutting down, but don't expect much support or new content as the team admits player counts is low. So, what they're not going to do is actually shut it down, right? This is an indie team, this is an indie game, therefore it's one of those where it doesn't need the amount of, say, support that something like Marathon would need, right? Because of how much it cost, how much Bungie spent on, or I'm Bungie, how much Bungie spent on it, and how much PlayStation, sorry. Yeah, Sony. How much Sony spent on spent on Bungie. Jeez, too many people owning too many things in that realm right now. Too much money floating about. But anyway, so they can leave the lights on. It looks like, but yeah, Last Flag and giving their numbers, just looking at their numbers right now, I don't think they will keep the lights on for too long. Like, as of this article being written, I guess that was the idea, to keep the lights on. But I don't expect it to happen for too long if that's going to be their player count going into the future, because it's just going to get worse than that. Unless, talking about this today, Monday, somehow everybody else starts talking about it, and that suddenly gets a bunch of people playing, and, who knows, maybe they'll have a renaissance or something where they suddenly become a good game. Because the game itself doesn't look too bad. The problem is it's a live service. And we are right now in the day and age that you shouldn't launch a live service. Now is not the time to launch your live service. There was a game I recently played, that I had gotten into its beta or whatnot. And it's a fun game, don't get me wrong. But now is not the time for a live service, as I said. And that's right there is the problem. But yeah, Last Flag, a newly released CTF-like online-only competitive multiplayer shooter from the game studio co-created by the lead singer of Imagine Dragons and his brother, which of course is somebody who also, let's say they lean highly on the woke side of things, so, But yeah, they made a studio, and this is the result. A game laced with that kind of rhetoric and stuff, that kind of thing. And who knew it was going to fail? Nobody saw this coming. I mean, I would have saw it coming. In fact, a lot of people probably saw it coming. However, we didn't see it coming, right? Like, nobody actually saw it coming. Like, there's no way they could have figured that one out. Anyway, isn't going to get any new content past an already planned update, as the devs admit it failed to find an audience on Steam. The shooter is the latest example of online games failing to find an audience despite the star power attached to it. Yeah, we're in a day that star power isn't enough. You need a good game. That's all we want. But anyway, Last Flag launched April 14th and was developed by Night Street Games, and the studio founded in 2020. Anyway, so yeah, Dan Reynolds and his brother Dan Reynolds and Mac Reynolds. Sorry, Mac Reynolds. Dan Reynolds and Mac Reynolds, the two brothers, they founded the studio. Was also the studio and band manager. In an interview last month with Bloomberg, Mac told the outlet that he hoped people would give the game a shot. And it did. Or I guess they did. 500, probably around 1,000 did. Yeah. I wager they probably made about 30,000 or something on this game. Anywhere from 30 to 40,000 on it, if you ask me. But yeah, somebody gave it a shot. The game never hit over 600 concurrent players on Steam BD. Even with the help of the studio advertisement, the game via the Imagine Dragons social media account with millions of followers. Yeah, see, that's what happens. See, not only do you have a guy who, practically told people that he hated half his audience, right? Because of his, political beliefs. Because that is something he did a while back, right? And then, you've got a social media account that's probably full of, if anyone, fans or whatnot, right? And they just don't play games. They're not gamers because, you can be a gamer and like Imagine Dragons. Like, I like Imagine Dragons, I'm not going to lie. Although it's a little bit salty now, that for various reasons. But yeah, your audience doesn't translate into gamers because gamers are a special or a certain kind of person, right? They're not the modern audience that normally is out there who, anyway. Yeah, let's move on instead of getting stuck on that BS that we've talked about 1,000 times at this point. Anyway, now the studio and Mac have confirmed the development of future content is unlikely to happen. And this here is my favorite part of this article, right? If you've been following the Steam charts, you already know that Last Flag has been unable to find an audience. It needs to give all of you the experiences you deserve, said Mac in the game's official Discord server. But that doesn't mean we're about to throw in the towel. The financial reality of our situation means we're unlikely to be able to support additional development, including consoles for now, beyond some upcoming patches. And that there is like my favorite little bit about all of this right here, is the fact that you've got Mac over here pretty much saying, look, if you've been following SteamDB, you already know we fucked up. This game isn't going to go on. This game has failed, right? You saw it, you seen it, it failed. We're going to cease working on our console ports. We're going to stop everything else. What we got is a couple of patches we're going to throw out there soon. And that's going to be it. We're not going to go any further, which is great because, we've spent the past year or so at this point being told that Steam charts don't matter, right? By the journalists and stuff, and by all these other people, telling us how Steam charts don't matter. Steam charts don't mean anything. How can you tell that? You're just linking Steam charts. It's like, yeah, it's a pattern. We're smarter than the average bear here, boo-boo. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. But anyway. Yeah, so another game, another loss. It's down the drain. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. So let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I will talk to you later. See ya.